Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be talking about something that I think needs a change. And we've kind of talked about this before, but I want to hit it from like a slightly different angle. But before we jump into that, please go ahead, like the video, drop a sub if you're new here, and maybe think about leaving a comment towards the end of the video if you have an opinion or something that you would like to add. So thanks for all the support as always, and let's go ahead and jump into the video. So I think that the thing about Fortnite is there's something to understand about games and their evolutions and how things change. And I want to give kind of some reference to Overwatch. And the reason I want to give Overwatch some reference is because that game's like 2-3 years old now, 3-4 years old, something around there. And the thing about that game was that it was in a constant state of evolution, because at the time it was really a game that hadn't been done before. I mean, the kind of the team shooter aspect, arena shooter aspect had been done, Team Fortress 2, but it was like a MOBA team fight, team shooter kind of game. And so ultimately Overwatch kind of made their own genre in a way, kind of combining shooters and MOBAs and champion-like games together. And they actually saw a lot of evolution in that game. And what I mean by evolution is, like, as the game persists to continue on, and as the game is being developed, and as things are added and changed and manipulated by the developers, and as just like I said, as time goes on, the player base changes. What works and doesn't work for the game initially anymore changes. That can sometimes be the marketing, that can sometimes be the way that the game is developed. Sometimes even just like the motivation and the focus behind the game can totally change. And Overwatch saw a lot of that, and it still does, actually, even recently, changing like their competitive scene to have a specific kind of role lock. And I don't want to jump into that too much, but they've changed a lot. And I think Fortnite is 100% in that realm of evolution as well, And the reason I bring that up is because Fortnite has changed a lot, especially the player base, improving, getting better, changing the way that people play. And while the game has changed a lot as well, I think we're in a section of time where the game is like in some desperate need of evolution. Now, what does that mean? First and foremost, it almost sucks to say this because it's true and it just doesn't feel that great, but there's really just not a lot to do in the game, and the game feels rather boring. But at the same time, we all love the game, right? So what does that mean? Well, for me, when I say I'm bored or there's nothing to do, because these are things I say a lot, it just feels like the time investment, what I was getting, the reward for my time investment, is like no longer there. And if I look back in the past and I try to analyze, like, why was I so into the game? Why was it working before? Well, I think for me, the simple fact is this: I had so much to learn. I had so much I needed to improve on, and the addiction from the game came from a really fun game. So the gameplay itself was fun, but there was reward at the end of the tunnel. And now it's like that same experience, only there's no reward and there's nothing I'm really chasing. I mean, that's kind of a blanket statement, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, for a lot of gameplay, a lot of game time out of me, I feel like there's not a whole lot of reward there. There's not a lot of incentive, nothing for me to chase after. So obviously I love playing in the cups. I don't play the Wednesday ones though, I'll be honest with you guys. But I love playing in the cups. I love FNCS whenever it's running. I love playing tournaments. But those are, that's, few and far between compared to the rest of the week. And ultimately, otherwise, there's not a lot to do. The player base has evolved to where I would say the majority of the players want Siphon. We have no Siphon pubs. Arena has long queues and is struggling, in my opinion, and we're going to talk about that. And competitive happens, in these really niche areas of the week where, it leaves us wanting more. And especially towards the end of the season, I think it's just kind of like a really big lull for the game. The game is really just kind of played out. We're ready for something new. It may not even be good. I mean, ballers, mechs, planes, we don't even know what we're asking for, but we all know that we want it. So when they announced yesterday that they were, extending the season a little bit longer, I think this is the first season that I'm this close to the end of the season. And this is, me thinking that the season was just about to end, and I'm not even close to tier 100 yet on the battle pass. So I need to do some challenges, and that's another thing I think needs to change. I mean, does anybody get excited to do challenges anymore that like has been an adamant player and maybe is not a young child or like a young kid? And no offense to anybody that's younger that enjoys the challenges. If you do, that's great. I just, for me, I don't really feel like it works out that way anymore. I don't really care about them. So I think Fortnite is at the precipice of, really needing an evolution. And what could that be? First and foremost, to give my thoughts and ideas on what should change, I think it's really important that we acknowledge the shortcomings of arena mode. And we've talked about that here on the channel. Arena, it has to change. It needs to be with skill-based matchmaking hitting the public matches, with the players getting better, and the competition, the stakes are higher than ever, constantly evolving, the competitive scene, World Cup and FNCS, and all this investment from Epic and the developers to put on a professional scene and a competitive scene. I think it's time that arena changes as well. And I talk a lot about this on Twitter, and I'm not going to go into the specifics here, but the ultimate goal is that I think one of the biggest things that needs to change, the whole reason for this video, is arena mode. We need something to do daily. And it almost feels bad to say that like I want it to be money incentivized, because I do think the game is good enough to not need that. But at the same time, I am going to throw that idea in there, because I do think if they were to run arena in seasons, and at the end of the season there was some kind of a cash reward, that could help incentivize it as well. But I'm not even sure it needs that. If you guys haven't seen some of my arena ideas, basically what I want is I want arena to run in seasons. That could be month-long seasons, 3-month-long seasons, something that runs parallel to the actual in-game season. And I want it to have a leaderboard, and I want it to have a little bit more weight than it has now. There's not really any prestige in having champion level. The only thing you get is the ability to compete further. And we all know that like these cash cups aren't great. We all know that arena mode is not good at all. It's not really good practice. It's not even like a good queue with the amount of time that you have to wait. My current trio, I'm going to be moving into squads in the next season. We're playing, and we're grinding trios, and we're getting 17-minute queues, 17 to 20-minute queues almost every single game. I think we played 6 games last night, and of the 6 games, we won 3 of them. We were within like top 5, top 10 on all the others. So really consistent games, and the games aren't not fun. They're just not super competitive. But the main reason I'm bringing up the games that we played is that I think we sat in a 15+ minute queue in almost every single one except for one. I think one of them was like a 6 or a 7-minute queue. So I think when it comes to queue time, because with skill-based matchmaking in the normal pubs mode, we can't just sit there and play normal pubs mode on the high end of players. Players that are very good can't really afford to spend their time playing non-siphon pub matches. And so that leaves us with arena. But the problem with arena, especially for streamers, is that they don't have the time, or it's not entertaining or a good stream to sit in 20-minute arena queues. So I think what needs to change with arena at very least is the way that the matchmaking is happening. And despite the format, because I could talk about how I want them to change the format to be better, despite the fact that I want it to be seasons, and I want there to be a really prestigious rank and a leaderboard for everybody to compare themselves, potential cash prizes at the end of the season, potential seasonal rewards, which I'll double back to. I think that what Epic really needs to do is to put like a maximum time of like 6 to 8 minutes on the arena queues. And after 6 or 8 minutes goes by, probably 6 minutes really, after like 6 minutes goes by, the matchmaking opens up quite a bit. Maybe like I don't know how it is now, so I can't really say, but it opens up quite a bit to varying skill levels of players. And if you're a low skill player that's in a lower skill player that's in a very high ranked match, you'll have like a feathered multiplier on your back. So if you do really well, maybe there's a multiplier, literally just like your points times something that multiplies how many points you get. If you're a lower tier player excelling in a high tier lobby, you should be rewarded. And if you're a high tier player, losing in those lobbies, maybe there's a negative multiplier as well. Because but not so much so that the games aren't worth your time, because then if you get a shorter queue game, it's just going to hurt you. So maybe that's just like a one-way street where lower players get a multiplier and maybe higher tier players are just playing like it's a regular lobby. I don't really know. I can't think of the balance for this. I don't build these systems. It's just an idea that I have, but I definitely think it would make lower ranked players feel better about being in the higher lobbies. And what could happen is, instead of just getting a multiplier that goes high for them, to increase their points, there could also be like a debuff multiplier, to where, if they do poorly in a game, then they're going to lose less than they normally would in like a more evenly skilled game. And at the same time, I think that the arena mode needs to have a little bit more presentation to it, like a splash screen when you're loading in that shows you what kind of game you're going into. So maybe, let's say I'm at 10,000 points, but the average of the lobby is like 7,500. Maybe there's a nice splash screen on the loading screen that takes us into the game that shows, hey, this is what level, average your game is. You're in the top, 10 players points wise or something like that. And it'll show you, your current multiplier is plus this, something like that. And again, I know this is super hypothetical, and I hope I kind of have kept your attention, because it is something that would need to be tested and built. But the overall goal, to kind of simplify, is that I do think that Arena just needs to evolve. I think it's time that Arena needs to change for the better, for it to be a playable mode, for it to be a competitive mode, for it to be a real experience that people can enjoy and can put their time into, can grind. And one thing I did say that I would double back to is like end of season rewards. I would love to see there be like a skin every season. Think about it, every season, almost like a battle pass, and that skin is like, season 11 competitive skin or season 11 arena skin, and then the skin has styles, and you earn those styles by achieving a certain rank or by finishing the season with a certain rank. Because I do want to say, one thing that sucks about the current version of Arena is that it doesn't D-rank. You don't have the ability to really fall, and that's really important in a ranked mode, especially if you have a leaderboard. You can't just earn champion rank and then sit at the bottom of champion rank with no points. So think about it. They could make, and it wouldn't have to be a crazy skin. I mean, I think putting a good amount of design into it, because it would be like a free skin, would be important to make people feel good about earning it. And then you could wear your seasonal skin around. Honestly, they might even have to put it in the battle pass just for it to be a monetizable skin. And so if you're a free-to-play player, like, yeah, sure, you can earn the rank, and maybe that'll come with like a spray or an icon each season, but to earn the skin, it may be purchased through the battle pass. So like the level 1 skin of the battle pass is your arena skin, and as you rank up, you unlock the new ranked styles. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I literally came up with this skin idea like on the rip just now. I had been thinking about seasonal rewards like skins and stuff, but I didn't have the idea to have multiple styles for it till just now. And thinking about that, that'd be really cool. You could go into pub games, you could play zone wars with your, your high tier skin style on, and kind of flex out, the fact that you're a good player. And I think every single season, if it was to run, like parallel to the battle pass or parallel to the actual Fortnite season, it would be good. I think that would work well. So I think that's the video today. I think I've pretty much covered it. I wasn't coming in here to talk specifics, and I kind of did, but I think the overall goal is that the game has changed, and the players have changed how they play it, and they've changed how well they play it, and what they know, and how they want to spend their time. And ultimately, I know that for me and for a lot of other competitive players that I know and interact with on Twitter, the game just feels played out, but not in the sense that we don't like the game, but more like there's just nothing for us to grind. There's nothing for us to do in a way, and we want that. We're not over Fortnite. I'm not over Fortnite. I don't want to stop playing this game. I love the mechanics. I love the feel of it. I'm not over the game, but I need a way to invest myself. And I hope you guys understand that. So thanks for checking out this video. Again, so much support has been coming on the channel. I've been getting new follows on Twitter. People have been stopping by the stream. and I definitely appreciate it. So if you're not subscribed, because dude, I've looked at my analytics, it's like literally like 90% of you guys that watch these videos are not subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. I would love to hear from you in the comment section, whether you have an idea, something you'd like to add, something you want me to talk about here on the channel. If you have any kind of questions, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I do my best to answer every single one. I almost have no excuse not to. So I comment back on, the majority of my comments, and leave a like on the video. So thanks for checking out this video again. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next video.
Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel the fire inside of